Good afternoon everyone. This week I'm feeling a little musical, so I wanted to share an item with you that can be used to play beautiful and uplifting melodies. Unfortunately I can't play any kind of instrument to save my life, so the sounds end up being a little more, let's say, lethal. This time we'll be looking at the magical harp from Terraria. The magical harp is an enchanted string instrument that is able to unleash deadly musical notes when the strings are plucked, that are able to penetrate enemies unhindered, and are able to reflect off of walls to inflict further damage. While the notes are able to reverberate when impacting surfaces, unlike real sound waves, they seem to be unidirectional and only travel where the user desires. Other than the fact that it's excellent when used against large crowds or segmented foes, it has to be noted that the sonic projectiles of the weapon slow down when they're in a liquid. This is interesting because usually a sound will increase in its speed when it indents a medium, such as a liquid. Although beyond this mildly intriguing point, there is not a large amount that can be said about the functioning of the magical harp in itself. However, we can spend quite a lot of time discussing exactly how and why it functions as it does, as the harp is rather unique among the armory of Terraria, because whereas many other weapons may be strange and distinctive in their own ways, for instance the Meowmere or Bananarang, they still typically fit into some sort of weapon class, whereas the harp does not. While there is an argument to say that the magical harp can be classified as a spell-like weapon in the vein of the water bolt or the demon's scythe, these are spell tomes, of which the harp is clearly not. In truth, the weapon is something wholly different to anything else in Terraria, and maybe so simply because it was not originally intended as a weapon in the first place. Even though there's no accepted history behind it, it can be hypothesized that the origin of the harp was simply an attempt to garner a pure sounding or more unique form of music. However, the non-traditional means utilized to achieve this resulted in the tones produced by the harp becoming extremely abnormal and even dangerous to those who heard them. Given that the ingredients required to enhance a standard harp into its magical form originate from both light and dark, with crystals from the hollow and souls of night, as well as the soul of a powerful creature, it is easy to think that it's some sort of highly arcane artifact originally developed by powerful mages of old. However, given that it's found nowhere else in Terraria, and the wizard only sells the basic instrument rather than its magical counterpart, it could even be that it was the champion of Terraria themselves who forged the magical harp for the first time, purely through accident, by attempting to combine powerful but random elements that had now been spread across the world. While it is possible that the weapon is an ancient item after all, otherwise lost to the world, given the available evidence, the alternative appears much more plausible. Whether it was the champion that initially created the magical harp, and whether they were indeed trying to create a new form of weapon, or just a better sounding harp, or even something completely different, what was formed can easily be considered one of the better, if unusual, offensive tools available in Terraria. So due to its relatively large and rapid damage output, as well as piercing and reflective abilities, not to mention its sheer uniqueness, the magical harp has been given an artifact rating of remarkable. So really, what else can you say about the magical harp? Sure, you could talk for days about how unusual it is, but at the same time, I'm a little lost for words, given how I simply can't really get my head around it. Oh well, guess more research is required. Please subscribe for more course content and become a patron or channel member for early access to my other lecture series, Profiles. Now have a great week, and whatever you do, don't tamper with anyone's musical instruments. It might not go well.